me. My name is Mo Everything. That's my stage name. I'm a rapper, songwriter, part-time actor. So I discovered that today's day was about the discovery of Walter Rodney. You know, the significant, leader, for our nation.
My name is Zama. I'm an educator here at Tshisimani. My job today is simple. It's just to welcome you all here to the Walter Rodney series. We're on day 2. We started yesterday with the film and a nice engagement. And today we're rushing into what is the contradiction? What is the primary contradiction? But today we want to speak about the man. Who is Walter Rodney and why is he important? Why are we here to talk about this man? And I think in many ways, when someone says, I know you, they normally speak about knowing you through an experience. So when I say, I know you, Simone, we went to school together. I know you, Kamba, we met at a bar somewhere. I know you, Petani, we shared a cell in Hillbrook. Yeah, so there's, when we talk about knowing the person and getting to know a person, we speak a lot about their experiences. But also the other thing, when someone says, I am this person, they normally refer to their experiences, the way they come from, and how that builds them. So we want to look at where does Rodney come from? What are the contradictions that he comes from? Where are the concrete conditions that he finds himself? And what are the ideas and what is being discussed in the time of Rodney? With his peers, with people around him, with people opposing him. What was the vision of society, or what society they envisioned?
Your name, where you from? I am here because, and we're going to start this side.
I don't know who he is, and I just heard he was someone famous in history, so I just here to learn more about it.
I'm here because I have to be here. Because I was alive when Rodney was killed. I think he's in the room with us. And we have an obligation to make sense of the world that he was in at that time. Because that world hasn't changed, it's gotten worse.
Some people know lots about Rodney, and some people were maybe introduced to him last night, and some people are like, okay with this man. And that's fine. So we just want to get a sense of it. So on the wall behind us, we've got different statements. I've heard Rodney read the book. I've heard of Walter Rodney before. I don't know who Walter Rodney is. I am a Rodney cultist. A cult fan. I have read him extensively. So can I invite you all just to leave stuff on your seat and stand up? And can you position yourself near or between one of those viewpoints? Okay, can I ask you to get into groups just quickly, just with each other, of about 3 people. Try and do it with somebody that you don't spend all day with, somebody new. And can you just, and the people who weren't here, you listen in, and just discuss with your partner or your friend, what was it about last night, either in the conversation or from the film, that really stood out for you about beginning to learn about Rodney and his politics?
To be honest, today is my actually first day to come across with Tshisimani, the organization. I liked the facilitation, the process of it. Alex is just a good facilitator where she can actually lead you, accordingly to their activities, accordingly to what they want us to go through, which is studying about the significance of this leader, which is Walter Rodney. I liked the whole process of studying and actually knowing the character that he was, and the type of a leader that he was, for our people, yes. It helped us to a point where if we put these stories into one story, then that will help us to be on the same page of this history, that we are actually discovering today.
For many people, this is kind of a diving to this man and his world, and the idea. So what sort of things came up for you in your discussion
reality. Why was he killed? Why was he murdered?
Word used that I couldn't really come to understand very clearly, and perhaps I need some help, is the difference with the race and class, and how that feeds into what happened, what's happening in our country.
If you listen, I think there was a shot where it was showing Marcus Garvey's wife explaining how the ones that are put in office to run the country are actually not the ones who call shots. They're just puppets and pawns that are put in front to actually mislead the masses.
So we are literally going to go on a little tour around the world. So Rodney is born here in Guyana. He then goes to Jamaica. He then goes to London. He then goes to Tanzania. And he then goes back to Guyana. So we're going to do it like a circle. And the way we're going to be doing that is we're going to be breaking up into 5 groups. So the number ones are going to read chapter 1 of the book, which is the early years. And this is really the questions of Rodney growing up in Guyana, what is happening, what is influencing the politics. It's a British colony, lots of influences and ethnic divisions between Indian and Black African population as a result of the history, where to go to school, he travels to Cuba, all these sorts of things. Okay, that's chapter 1. Chapter 2 is called Marxism in London, and there are 2 groups for this because it's a long chapter. And then group 5 is reading chapter 5, which is on Tanzania, where he goes into Africa and he learns from the liberation struggles, he learns about scientific socialism, the era, his struggles for independence, emancipation, and his teaching at the University of Dar es Salaam. Each group is going to read the chapter, and then after that, we're going to come around and give you a creative task as a way to bringing that together in a poster. So there's lots of pictures from some of the influences that we're going to ask you to create a visual kind of map and demonstration of that period of Rodney's life.
So you're going to be using pictures and maybe some written words to make captions under those pictures, sort of like a visual poster where you're actually explaining the world that Walter Rodney occupied.
So visuality, it helps you to magnify your imagination, right? It helped us, to actually have this information that we were actually discovering about Walter Rodney, to actually help to actually find it interesting, to find it fun, to actually know it.
I think you're going to be focusing specifically on the chapters that you are doing right now, and then you're just going to do a visual representation on this brown strips of paper that we've provided and the pictures that we've provided. So a nice visual representation perhaps of the key moments, events, people in Walter Rodney's life, specifically from your chapters. I think between yesterday's event when we watched the 2 documentaries on Walter Rodney's life and today's readings on Chinedu's chapters on Walter Rodney's life, I think we're starting to get to grips with Walter Rodney's life and influences in terms of people, ideas, events, and places that had a huge influence on his politics, on his activism, and on his writing. The groups likely are already divided according to eras, different eras of Walter Rodney's life. There's a group that is dealing specifically with his early years in Guyana. There's a group that's dealing with his time in Europe. There's a group that's dealing with his time in Tanzania, and another group that's dealing with his time back in the Caribbean. So I'm going to give you this. Each group is going to get this. And from the information that you wrote on these posters, from the information that you gleaned from the chapters that you read, I need the groups to write down places, people, ideas, events that influence Walter Rodney's life. And we're going to plot them on this here map.
It's developed over time, right? So chapter 1 is over there, which is his experience in Guyana, and I know that Karen is hastily doing the Guyana, but can somebody from chapter 1 just
I was so inspired, you know, by Walter Rodney when he decided to move from his birth town, you know, his hometown, to London. You know, that was a brave move, you know, to actually start over with his wife, Patricia. When he got affiliated with the Marxism, when he even opposed with the SOAS, you know what I'm saying, with their, you know, understandings and their ways of doing things.
Progressive Party. So at the age of 11, Rodney is handing out pamphlets. And he's chased by a dog, and he starts to realize which houses he can go into and which he can't. He's starting to realize his class position as a working class child, even at that.
He also said next that the PPP was a movement advocating for anti-colonial politics, and that the PPP were voted in power, but their power lasted for 133 days.
You know, that alone was just a consistency on what he was doing, on what he stood up for. You know, that's a teaching for me as an artist, because even now I have stories that I want to share. I have imaginations that I want to magnify, you know, out there. So with that power, you know, with that responsibility, I need to put it out there. So from Walter Rodney's movements, from Walter Rodney's driven power, you know, that will push me also to go somewhere and actually spark what's in my mind. It is within us our responsibility to know and discover such great leaders. So that's the power of today's activity.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Easy, bro. Easy.
On camera, man. That's a new thing.